Good afternoon, boys and girls, and mommies and daddies, and grandmummies and grandpuppies. Um, I have something to say first before we get started on this story. I was just looking online on YouTube, uh, seeing some of the stories that we had put on there, my daughter and I. And I have to tell you, there's a lot of stories about Piggly and Wiggly. There's not very many stories about Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly. And there is no stories that I could find on there that was, excuse me, live and spoken. Most of the people are on there and they're reading a book, la da 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 da, and they look at the camera, la da 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 da. They don't even show the kids the pictures. Some of them do, very few. And I think that I'm special. I'm sorry. But, I mean, there is nobody doing live, there's nobody doing live pig stories. Let's put it that way. And we all know what the three little pigs went through when they grew up. They built their houses of straw and of sticks and of bricks. And the big bad wolf came and blew it down. Well, this is before they grew up. And of course, little bad wolf in the story did not grow up to blow their house down. That's his father. And that's why you don't hear about his father very often, because he doesn't come to town. He's not welcome in the town. So I think I'm rather unique. And I wish that you would tell everybody that you could about this, because it is different. I know I'm a little crazy and a little weird sometimes, but it is a little different. And with that, we'll start the story. And if you read the title, today's story is all about going to the ear doctor. Oh my gracious sakes. Mommy Piggy had been noticing that the boys were not quick to answer her like they used to be. And she said, "Oh, kind of wonder what's going on." And so she says, maybe I better go take him to the doctor. Maybe I better go have him checked up. So she told him, she says, "Okay, boys, today when I pick you up from school, I have made a doctor's appointment for you, and so I will pick you up." "What, Mommy, we're not sick. What kind of doctor are we going to?" Squiggly said. And Piggly and Wiggly, they looked scared. Sometimes they're a little scared of the doctor. And she says, no, don't worry. She says, "This is an ear doctor. He's very nice." She says, "I went to him a long time ago," and she says, "He's very nice." And she says, "He's going to look at your ears." Piggly says, "What's wrong with my ears? I think they're pretty. They're cute. They stick up, and they. And she says, "I know they do, sweetheart." She says, "He just wants to see inside of your ears. He's going to look inside." Wiggly says, "He's going to look inside our ears? How's he going to do that?" And she smiled, and she says, "Well, he's got a little machine, or not machine, but he's got a little thingy like a flashlight, and he sticks it in your ears, and he looks all around." Oh. So they were bouncing up and down all afternoon, and Miss Eileen, the teacher, she kind of wondered why they were just all, and so she finally said, "Boys, settle down. You're interrupting the rest of the class. What's going on?" And Squiggly says, "Well, Miss Eileen, we have to go see a doctor when we get through here. And we've never seen this doctor before. And we're kind of scared, but we're kind of happy, but we're kind of excited, but we're kind of worried. We just don't know what we are." And she says, "Well, you're three wiggling boys. That's what you are." And so she says, "What kind of doctor is it?" And so Wiggly says, "It's an ear doctor." And all the boys and girls turned around and looked at him and said, "An ear doctor? Ew!" Well, oh my, now they got scared for sure. Miss Eileen says, "Now, boys and girls, you don't do that. An ear doctor is a very nice doctor to go and see, because if you have anything wrong with your ears, he wants to help you so you can hear better." And she says, "Squiggly, I know that you sit on the end on the very last desk, but she said, sometimes you don't act like you hear me. She said, so I think maybe your mama is right. And the rest of you boys and girls, I don't know. We might talk about that. And I tell you what we'll do. Tomorrow, now, boys, listen to me. Tomorrow, I want you to come up to the front of the class and tell the rest of the class exactly what the doctor did to you and why, because he will tell your mama what he's going to do and how come. And then I want you to tell, the rest of the class, and so that nobody will be afraid to go to the ear doctor. And I might write some notes home to some of you boys and girls that I think is not listening good. I think that might be a good idea. And Squiggly says, oh, that's going to be fun. And the alligator says, I don't want to go to an ear doctor. I got little teeny tiny ears and I don't know if I want to go or not. And she just laughed and she says, no, you're not one of the ones that is having trouble hearing me. She says it's some of the other kids. And so he says, whew, So, time to get out. The bell is ringing and the boys are going down the hall. And they're getting a little bit quiet because they knew that pretty soon they were going to meet this new doctor that they had never seen before. And even though that Miss Eileen said the same thing that Mama said, that it was easy, they just weren't quite sure yet. So they got in the car and they said to Mom, well, we're here. What are we going to do? And Mommy says, well, we're going to go to the ear doctor like I told you. And then we'll see. So she drove a couple of blocks and turned the corner and drove some more. And there sits a big sign that says, Mr. Bogdanovanov. How do you pronounce that? She says, we're just going to call him Dr. Bob, okay? And the kids go, thank goodness, Mommy. Wow, that's a name. And she said, yes, it's quite a long name, all right. So they walked in, and so the nurse says, and who are you? And Piggly says, my name is Piggly. And she smiled, and she says, and how about you? Well, my name is Wiggly. And she goes, well, that's pretty good. Piggly and Wiggly and Squiggly. And she says, she's writing them down, and she says, well, that's very interesting, boys. I'm very glad to meet you. Now, I understand that you are the 3:30 appointment, and you were here to see Dr. Bob. Is that right? And, of course, Mommy Piggy, she was nodding her head, and the boys, they were jumping up and down, and she said, now, boys, you don't be nervous. She says, Dr. Bob's real nice. You'll like him. He's really nice. So in a few minutes, she called him back, and she took him into this room, and they all sat down, and Dr. Bob comes in, and he says, well, good afternoon, boys. I understand that you're Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly. Which one is which? Because, they looked quite a bit alike, And so they told him which one each one of them was. And he said, okay. He said, I will start with Piggly first. And he says, what I'm going to do, he says, I'm going to look into your ears, and I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to have you say a few words into a microphone and see how you pronounce the words, because that makes me know that you either understanding and can hear me, or that you can't hear me and don't understand what I said. So he did Piggly, and he did Wiggly, and he did Squiggly, and they all come back out and sit in the room again. And Mrs. Piggy says, well, now, what is your opinion? Are they getting kind of hard of hearing, or is it just my imagination? And he says, no. He said, I think they got some wax in their ears. Well, sometimes boys and girls get wax in your ears, and you don't even know it, and Mommy doesn't realize it because you still hear her. And so he says, I'm going to clean your ears out, boys. And with that, he took a little suction cuppy thingy, and he went, and out comes this wax. Well, it wasn't very much to see when you look at it, but it was enough that made them not always hear the words. And he says, now, boys, this is what I want you to do. Yeah, I'm going to give you some eardrops, and I want you to put eardrops in your ears about one every other day. A little teeny drop, that's all you have to do. And so the boys said, wow, our ears were kind of dirty, weren't they? And he goes, boys, that's okay. He says, all boys and girls go through this. He said, at one time or another. He said, sometimes it waits until you're kind of grown up, and then you have wax in your ears a lot. And Mommy Piggy says, you know what? I never had that much wax in my ears, but you know, when I was pregnant with these 3 boys, I had wax, oh my gracious sakes, and I haven't had it that bad since. He said, that's what I'm talking about. He said, it's okay, boys. He says, just know from now on you clean your ears, and I told you how to do it. And they said, okay, Dr. Bob, we will do that. And he says, you brush your teeth, and then you clean your ears, and then you comb your hair. And they go, brush my teeth, clean my ears, and comb my hair. And he said, that's exactly right. That's what you do. And this is a quick story today, isn't it? So maybe we can stretch it a little bit, a tiny bit longer. So they drove home, and by now it was too late to have any kind of fun outside. They knew the boys, you know, Little Bad Wolf and Allie the alligator, they knew they were already getting ready for supper. And so Mommy Piggy says, that's okay, you can play, you know, tomorrow outside. And she said, you know what I've got a hankering for? And they said, what, Mommy? And she said, how about some good French toast and bacon for supper tonight? Oh my goodness gracious sakes. They, you know, anytime you can eat breakfast, you know, it's good, but French toast for supper time, that's good. That's a good supper. And she had powdered sugar, and she sprinkled powdered sugar on it, and she gave out the pancake syrup. Oh my goodness gracious, they had such a great supper. And then they didn't have any homework to do, so they were allowed to watch 1 hour of TV. And it came 8 o'clock, and she said, now boys, you know what 8 o'clock is. I know, Mommy. And they all trooped upstairs and went to bed and said their prayers and promised the next day to make sure they washed their ear, or, you know, cleaned out their ears when they did their teeth. Okay, boys and girls, you should be doing that too. Have your mama do it for you, because I don't want you to do anything, you know, real bad in your ears. Mommies have to do that, okay? We will see you Wednesday, and okay, we will see you Wednesday, with something, okay? But do pass the word around that this is an actual live story right out of my crazy head, okay? Because I was really surprised when I looked on the YouTube, and all you got to do is just write Winnie Skis, and they should come up, and if they don't, just write Winnie Skis, Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly. There's a bunch of them. So, with that, bye-bye for today. Let me get you off here. Okay, bye-bye.